This is the block of an Volvo MD6b. See, we have the fuel pump there. It does move fuel. I don't know if it moves it at the right pressure or not, but it looks like it's in good shape. We've got, here's the cylinders. We've got an angle so we can see down in them maybe. Redirect the light here a little. They seem to be pretty clean. Could maybe use a hone run through them, but I don't see any obvious cracks in it or anything where water's coming through. All of the cooling ports when I got this motor, when I pulled it out of my boat, were all pretty well clogged. It looked like, and also the thermostat was out of it, so they probably, previous owner must have had some overheating issues. Got rid of the thermostat, hoping to solve those issues, and which resulted ultimately in a lot of carbon buildup and gunk on the engine, which I have cleaned off. I'm going to rotate the cam through its cycle here, so you can see that it's in pretty good shape. And then also, if you can see down there, I'll turn over here in a second, but the lower bottom end, the crank all looks good. And we get to the pistons and we'll see that the bearings on it all look good too. Pause just a second while I rotate the motor. Okay, here we can see all the timing gears, everything, no broken teeth. All meshes well. No indication of any bad parts in this. There's the side with where the oil filter goes. Mounts all look good. That's the alternator bracket. This is the hand crank starting. I think that's broken, but I don't know how that works, so I'm not sure if that's supposed to be that way with the kind of the little bit rough looking edges, like maybe that was broke off there. So I don't know if the hand starting is serviceable or not. Okay, now I'm going to pause again while I invert it. Okay, here we are with the motor inverted, and we can see the bottom end. You can see on this one I've got a zip tie so I can tag it so I know which piston goes to which crank there. You can go through here and we can see that there's no scoring on these bearing surfaces. There's the oil hole. So it all looks good. It feels nice and tight. There's no slack in the crank bearing there. It's really good and tight. This is where the oil pump goes. So the foundation of this motor looks really good. I have a high degree of confidence if I put rings in it that I have it running again, and it would be a good motor for years to come. It's very heavy though. Okay, I'm going to put this piece up and switch back to, we'll look at the head and the exchanger and all the other stuff. Okay, here's the pistons and the injectors. This first one here, this one I've got tagged with a zip tie, so that one I know where it goes, and I put it back so it goes in where it came from. You see there's really minimal scarring of any kind on the piston. It all looks in good shape. The rings, I did put those in the cylinder, measured the gap, and it was excessive. Those need to be replaced. Although I think it would probably run fine for a while with them as they are, but well, it's a part they should be replaced. So I think they're rings from Torrance and Marine are $100 a set, so it'll be $200 for the engine. The crank bearings are all really good shape. It looks to me almost like they've been replaced at some point. I can't believe that those are actually the stock original bearings. They look really in good shape. Pulled the piston pins out, cleaned these all up. Like I said earlier, whoever had it before, they took the thermostat out, and this was all gunked up. There was gunk all in the piston ring grooves, so I cleaned that out, cleaned them up quite a bit. ready to go back together. Again, the other piston also in really good shape. Rings again need to be replaced. The gap is excessive, and as you can see, the bottom end bearing is in real good shape as well. The top end bearing is good, no problems there. Here are the fuel injectors. This is another one. I think these are probably fairly new. When they were probably having problems with the motor, this is probably the ones they spring some dollars on to replace recently. I doubt these are original equipment. Probably been replaced at some point anyway, because they look pretty new. Okay, here's the head and the heat exchanger. And here's the head. You can see the valves, springs all look good. No problems on this end of things. Rotate it around here. This, again, when I took it apart, was really gummed up with a lot of gooey stuff. And I've cleaned it up. Valves look pretty good shape. They do hold water. I haven't pressure checked them or anything, but they're not bent and they're not excessively worn. Lifters all work good, really smooth, no play in them. Over to the heat exchanger. It's in good shape, serviceable. I recently just put from Torrance Marine, got that's a temperature sensor there. Under here I've got a brand new thermostat. Since it didn't have one, I got that from Torrance Marine. That was like, if I remember, it was like $50 or something just for the thermostat. But it is a marine grade thermostat. Here you can see into the cooling passages of the heat exchanger. The knockouts are still all intact. Doesn't look like they would leak. Any problems there? Looks like it's ready to. I brushed it off with a wire brush. Be cleaned off maybe again a little bit and then acetone, and you know, once you got it all back together, paint it up, and I think you'd be good. Here's some miscellaneous items. We got the rocker arms. All seem to be in good shape. No excessive play anywhere on any of these, nor is the wear excessive on the arms. Got two pretty fresh gaskets. We got the heat exchanger gasket and then the head gasket. A little bit of rust on there, but it just wipes right off. Here is the valve cover gasket and valve cover, and then the oil pickup that goes in the bottom of the block that we saw earlier. Where the oil pump was at.